Hello and welcome to Good Journeys Tarot. This is Rosemary with a response to Ethony's 31 Days of Tarot, Day 29. And basically this question is whether or not you alter your decks. Edge them, trim them, write on them, anything of that nature. So I will say that I tried my hands at trimming a deck which was damaged. And I didn't feel that I would be able to get it as perfect as I would want it to be in order to enjoy it. So I definitely don't trim decks for that reason. Now, I do love edging a deck. Now, obviously, there are some decks that you would never modify. An example being the Sacerabito Tarot, which has this beautiful gilding. And so I definitely would never want to modify that deck. Another is the Golden Thread Tarot, which is plastic, and so the sides actually match the front and backs of the cards, and so that's just beautiful as is, and there really isn't a need to modify that deck. One of the first decks that I ever modified was doing the edging on the Mystic Fairy Tarot. The gold actually matches the fronts and the backs of the cards just beautifully, and I was very happy with this, and I decided I had to do more decks. So I naturally decided that the deck, the Centennial deck, really was missing out by not being gilded, so I have done it. Probably could go over it again. I was running out of ink when I was doing the deck initially, but I think it's just a beautiful, way to make it my own, so to speak. Another deck that I have done is the Zillich Tarot. I actually did it in silver, and it actually is beautiful, and you actually can kind of see through it. Once you start turning the cards, the design comes through a bit. And I thought that worked out really nicely, really nicely. This is the Golden Tarot by Liz Dean. And I debated whether I should edge it to match the backing, which is brown on the edges, or to do gold. And ultimately, I'm very happy that I did gold. I think it just works beautifully with these cards and their imagery and the backs. I was very happy with the way this turned out as well. As you can see, I have a lot of gold. So one of the reasons I haven't done gold on the next two decks I'm going to show you. One is the Minoan Tarot by Laura Perry, which I just had an interview with on my YouTube channel. One of the reasons I want to edge this deck is because, as you can see, it came from two different runs of cards or cuts of the cards. So there's a variance in the way they actually appear when you look at them. And so I kind of want to hide that and make it more cohesive. I haven't decided what color to edge this in. I don't think I want to do it gold. Right now, as I'm recording this, I'm thinking I might try to do it a pale blue, like the backing of the cards, which might be nice with the various colors on the fronts of the cards. But I haven't yet decided. That is a project to be determined. Another deck that I've just recently received that I'm going to edge tonight is the Wildwood Tarot. I actually saw someone doing this with green Sharpie today. I've not actually ever used Sharpie. I have been using an ink pad and running the cards along the ink pad. I will probably try the Sharpie with this because I do want that dark green on this to go with the backs and see how that works. If it doesn't work out, I won't be too disappointed because this was a secondhand deck and it didn't cost me a lot. I can always replace it down the road if I want to. Now, one other thing that I have done with a deck, and that's with this Lenormand specifically, is to write on it as a learning tool. And it's just little tiny marks in the corners here of cards that have positive, negative, and neutral meanings. just as a learning tool for me. And this is something that you may wish to do with an older deck, or if you have an inexpensive deck where you're learning something, to write correspondences on them or little cues like this that will help you when you're learning. I know a lot of people will put correspondences at the tops of cards. Some people actually have them printed that way, which is lovely. But if they don't, you can always write them in the tops, especially if they have a nice border that you can fit it in. Works very well. So that's my response to Ethony's 31 Days of Tarot, Day 29. Do you modify your decks? Don't forget that I'll be interviewing Maria Strom about her deck, Hip Chick Tarot, in 2 weeks. So look forward to that in the coming days. Until next time, good journeys.